Antelope Freeway 1 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/2 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/4 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/8 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/16 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/32 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/64 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/128 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/256 mile. Antelope Freeway 1/512 mile. We've just passed Antelope Freeway.
This is Dale Matthews. One of the things we do at BadCounty.com is tell you about county services for which you pay year after year after year, but are guaranteed never, ever to receive. One example is public access television. I'm a television producer, so I know what I'm talking about here. In the county, they call it the PEG account, which stands for the Public Education and Government Fund. You pay into it, but nothing comes out. Yes, it's against the law, but the county just keeps the money. I talked a while back with my friend Liz Irish. We were in a pizza parlor, and she wanted to know all about the bidding process to perform this service, or actually not perform any service.
So I've heard about this PEG account. What is the PEG account?
PEG stands for Public Education Government. Public Education Government. And it has to do with cable TV public access channels. And most people, I think, are going to go, what? Because we don't do anything with our public access channels. And who would want to watch something so boring anyway?
Well, I've seen them occasionally. I'm not a big fan of them because it's kind of like C-SPAN, right? You just kind of watch what's going on. It's like watching paint dry.
Yeah.
But tell me why they're important.
Well, first of all, they're important for people who are living in maybe Merlin and Grants Pass. Not so important for people who are living in Cave Junction, because Cave Junction doesn't have cable TV anymore.
Which you said that the other day, and I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So no cable TV access. So when I first came here from out of the area, I was born and raised in California, and then afterwards I came here. And I came here with a degree in television production and know a bit about radio. And I thought, well, when I get there, I'm going to volunteer like I've done in other places and help with the local public television station like PBS, and maybe help with public access. And then I discovered that the cable public access doesn't really work here very much. I mean, where's the equipment? Here's the deal, the way that it works. When a cable TV operator comes into a community, well, they're not doing it new anymore, but when they first started coming into communities, they said, listen, we want a monopoly. Because if we set it up where we're competing with everybody, then there'll be all kinds of wires all over the place, and you won't know who has what wire. And so if you let us be the only one that wires up the community, then we'll give you, community, a portion of the profits. Translate that to mean we'll jack up the prices to the consumers and then give you part of that jack up.
It's called a tax.
It is called a tax, actually.
I'll just translate. Anytime somebody says something and they don't call it a tax, it means it's a tax.
It is a tax. And what they did is Falcon Cable.
I remember that a long time ago.
Right. Falcon Cable was taken over by Charter Communications. Falcon Cable made a deal with both the city of Grants Pass and the county, Josephine County, and they also made a deal with Cave Junction. Now, since that, Cave Junction has now just been X'd off the map. It doesn't exist. They don't do anything out there at all. But they were taken over by Charter Communications, and Charter charges every subscriber a cable TV access fee, a PEG fee, a public education government. And it's supposed to be for 3 channels. This is the way it started. There's a government channel, which the government can put on its blather about what it's doing, and it doesn't need to worry about anyone else competing, and they can say, here's emergency preparedness, and here's the wonderful job that we're doing in the government. Mm-hmm. And then there's educational access.
Okay.
Right? And that's supposed to be for the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the public access, which is supposed to be for people, regular people like you and I, to be able to say what we think and have some access to the public airwaves, even though it's cable.
Okay. So we are paying a fee, which is also known as a tax. And that's to the PEG account, and we pay that every time we write a bill for our cable bill.
It goes to charter, and it goes around and around and around and comes out here. And what it happens is they pay a certain amount to the county and they pay a certain amount to the city. And it's supposed to end up buying equipment and making these channels accessible to the public, the educational institutions, and to the government.
So how's the public channel working?
Well, I was disappointed to find that there didn't seem to be anything that was going on. Plus, it seemed like the channels were all sort of mixed together. And why is Jackson County on the Josephine County channel? And I couldn't understand. If you go to channel 14 on cable, you find that there just as well might be a slideshow about the Ashland city government. And what is that doing on Josephine County's channel? So I tried to look into this a little bit, and I went to the county commissioners, first time I'd ever visited them, and I said, can you tell me what's happening here? Where's the public access part of this? And they said, well, you can go to a class for all that to be explained to you. It's in Ashland.
I actually saw an ad for that class recently. They're looking for people to take the class, to be part of the public access.
Now it's at RCC here in Grants Pass, but it used to be that you had to go all the way to Ashland.
Okay.
And if you want to borrow any equipment, you'd have to go all the way to Ashland, borrow the equipment, drive all the way back, use the equipment, which sometimes didn't work, and then take it all the way back. Talking about cable TV access, most people go, who cares, really? Well, part of the reason we don't care is we don't have a vibrant public access setup. And if you don't have that, then, well, let's suppose that you're involved with a community organization, you're in a Rose Club, you're with Lions, you're with Rotary, you do something with the troops, you want to do something with your kids at your school, you'd like to see the parade from Boatnick on TV. You know, there's a variety of things that you might like to see on television from your local community. Without cable TV access, none of that's going to happen.
Right.
Yes, you can watch the TV stations over in Medford, but they're going to take, after a whole day event, they're going to play 30 seconds and talk on top of most of it.
Right.
So if you want to see your county government and see them in action, if that's your thing, or if you want to find out what's going on with taxes, or if you're interested in seeing little kids sing I'm a Little Teacup, and you want to see your elementary nephew or grandson, doing that, then you'd normally see that on cable TV access.
Okay, gotcha.
All right.
But clearly that's not
It's not happening.
what's happening because it's mostly Jackson County and not Josephine County.
It's mostly Jackson County.
Okay.
What had happened was somehow this outfit called Rogue Valley Television, RVTV, that's a subsidiary of SOU, Southern Oregon University. So RVTV got in the middle of this and they said, hey, let us run this for you. It's part of I think, an interesting trend and dismaying trend to me to see the county government just give away some of their power to someone else who's going to take care of it for them. Here, you do this. When I first got here, I thought, well, the county commissioners aren't going to like the fact that things are not playing on time, or they're not playing at all, or there's no access. I have since come to the conclusion that they don't want that. As the city council said when I first came here to Grants Pass, I said, your council meetings at that time aren't televised. And they said, oh, brother, look, we have to deal with enough questions from the audience as it is. Can you imagine what we'd have to deal with if it was televised?
Exactly, though. That's exactly why it should be televised.
I agree with you.
Not to save you time and discomfort or being uncomfortable, again, comfort being the key word here, but to make the public aware of what's going on so they can ask questions and be involved.
Yes, thank you. It's transparency. Right. Well, and then there's a specific thing set aside for that. Now, here's the thing. Now you got to think about what are they doing? What are they thinking? If there was an outfit that was actually providing an ability for regular citizens and the schools to use equipment to shoot their own little stories, I'm a Little Teapot, or the Boatnick Parade, or your Rose Club, or if they were actually out there and available, that equipment and that time, then that would mean that the public would have access, right? So
by its own definition, its
it
own
would be
name,
public access. So what is it that RVTV provides that makes the county commissioners happy that they choose them again and again and are willing to overlook theft?
there's either a connection to the county commissioners, somebody they know, a back scratch, something is there, or what it's starting to sound like to me is complete incompetence and maybe just laziness on the part of all of our elected officials. That just showing up seems to be sufficient, that nobody's really going out of their way to do the right thing or to complete their job.
I'm going to give you a third supposition.
Okay.
Because it could be those things, right? I mean, people say it to me all the time. Hey, who's getting the money under the table? I don't know. And yes, that's something you should always consider, but I have no proof.
You know what I find usually being out there in the world on a day-to-day basis is laziness.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a waitress that really doesn't fill your coffee back
Yes.
up, right? But still expects the tip. I hope that there is not conspiracies most of the time, that maybe people just need to be forced to do their job.
I think you're right that most of the time it is laziness. The third option here is the county commissioners, up to this point, are getting exactly what they want out of RVTV. Rogue Valley Television, not RogueValleyNetwork.com.
I see where you're
They're
going.
getting what they want out of RVTV. RVTV is not providing the public access. It's not providing the equipment that we need in order to do things. And so, the county commissioners are happy.
I think you're onto something. It's just like the city council when they weren't having their meetings broadcast. Oh my goodness, if everybody really saw what was going on, maybe there would be more questions.
Right.
You've just passed Antelope Freeway.